Well, I finally made it to St. Augustine after 4 days. I started in Key West, worked my way up, stopped at some treasure museums along the way, and I'm finally here at what I consider to be the mecca of all things pirate. And I have the pleasure of speaking with Pat Croce, who is the founder of the new St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum. It used to be in Key West, and it was called Pirate Soul. And this weekend is the soft opening of the museum, but it'll be open to the public in general. They're going to have a big party in December. So Pat, I have to confess to you that I really didn't know who you were until I got into this whole pirate thing. And after I read your bio, I can only describe him as a modern-day Renaissance man. You've been involved in sports medicine. He was the president of the Philadelphia 76ers. He's an author, motivational speaker, and he does a lot of neat things. But most importantly for us today, Pat, you've been passionate about pirates since you were a kid. Did you have some kind of aha moment when you were a child? Can you tell us about that?
I think, Maria, it started when I watched Captain Blood, that Earl Flynn movie back from 1935. Now, I'm not that old, but I remember sitting on my living room floor watching that movie with my dad, and that swashbuckling and going for the gold, and I don't know what happened. Boom! And I was never good with authority. And so when they fight against the aristocracy, I thought, that's my kind of mentor. And so to this day, I always thought that's one of my best movies. And one time I finally got his jacket. I got Captain Blood's jacket, which will be here at St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum in the Hollywood Pirates exhibit area.
So you must feel like a kid in a candy store here.
I am. You're right, Maria. I mean, here's someone who, I got a skull and crossbones tattooed on my hand.
And a ship.
Oh yeah, pirate ship. Are you kidding me? I used to carve skull and crossbones into my ruler and on sweatshirts. I have a ruler I keep in my safe that my mother gave me from 4th grade. It's pretty funny, so it's never left me. And I'm one who always says, take action on your passion. And my passion is pirates, pirate history, the pirates, especially the Golden Age. Anywhere between 1680, 1730. And there's some really cool pirates because they took it upon themselves in a democratic way to go and plunder. You know what it was? Here, whether it's the end of 1680s or it's 1702 and Queen Anne's War ends, and here's these thousands of privateers fighting for king and queen, and all of a sudden, with the stroke of a pen, they continued to do what they were doing and were good at. Those privateers became labeled pirates. And so I would do the same thing. Otherwise, what? Get pressed into the hull of a ship of a Navy frigate? No way.
We talked about that in my Miami interview, that sometimes it was better to be a pirate than to be a sailor because sailors weren't treated very well.
Oh, those captains of merchant ships, the rich merchant ships, or the Royal Navy, those captains were masochistic. They were sadistic. They didn't care. Their rule was ultimate, the authoritative rule. That's why on a pirate vessel, the captain must get voted in. You sign these articles when you come on board, and there's a dual governance. You have the quartermaster, which is almost like the shop steward. So the captain can't do. The only time he has 100% authority is in time of battle. It's the only time. Other than that, his cabin can be invaded by his own crew. They can use it.
So, well, it's wonderful to see someone who's taken a passion that you had as a child and you're living it even through your adulthood. Now, fast forward years later, you started collecting artifacts.
Let me tell you the first one.
What was the first one?
The first one was the 1684 first edition of Esquemelin's Buccaneers of America. When you open it up and that first graft is Captain Morgan, that was my first artifact that I collected. And from this, and now I've made some really good friends in the world of whether it's maritime, pirate, or seagoing, some really good, who looks for the best books from. I have all 4 volumes of Dampier's Voyage. I have the original first edition of Treasure Island in 1883.
And you also have a Jolly Roger flag, right? And a treasure chest. How do these things, they're not gold and silver, so how did they stay preserved over time?
Well, the treasure chest, obviously it's made by the Germans 500 years ago. This was owned by Thomas II, Captain Thomas II. Anytime you see the black flag with the arm and the cutlass, That's Thomas Tew out of Rhode Island. Sailed around the Cape of Good Hope and raided the Red Sea, the great Mogul of India. And he was one of the first ones to do that with Captain Avery. Comes back to New York and they treat him like royalty because he's bringing all these spices and gems and silks. That was his treasure chest, and that stayed with his family and it got passed down. So that's in great shape. The pirate flag is a different story. I had purchased it off a collector, purchased it off a collector, purchased it off a collector. And that, I had to take it to the University of Pennsylvania curator there, and it took about a year to make sure that it was restored. And you saw that flag.
Yeah, it's really, really cool.
Is that not cool? And there's only 2 Jolly Roger flags in the world, and this one's the oldest.
Tell us a little bit about the history of the Jolly Roger flag, because it's a symbol of piracy.
The Jolly Roger flag in general, yeah, it started around 1700, where prior to that, privateers, when they were raiding, they would hoist a red banner. Almost like, even Drake did it, and Hawkins, back in the 1500s. But pirates start hoisting the black flag and put this Jolly Roger on it, the skull and crossbones, which is normally written by a captain in their logbook next to one of their sailors who has died, or you find it on gravestones. And really what they want to do is scare the bejesus out of the prey. Like if they see a merchant ship, they shoot a shot across the bow, they hoist the Jolly Roger, they take their weapons and start vapor banging on the side of the gunnels of the ship, making this horrendous war cry. And really what they want to do is have the prey give up, surrender. They really don't want to fight.
Yeah.
They don't want to. They want to keep the ship intact. And usually they treat the crew really well. As a matter of fact, they usually ask the crew, "How'd your captain treat you?" And their crew gets the chance of saying yay or nay.
Very, very cool. And well, St. Augustine is the perfect city for this museum.
Perfect.
It was founded in the 16th century, and it was plundered several times, included by Sir Francis Drake.
Read it. In 1586, right here on the grounds we're on, Drake and 2,000 sailors, 25 ships came and burnt this city. Boom. And we're going to have archaeological proof in the museum. Not only will we have the 10 portraits of like Andrew Ransom and Robert Searles and Drake in the museum, but you'll also see the city archaeologist has given me a stratigraphy, a picture of the land cut down, and you can see dirt, silt, rock, and then this charred area that they're dating 1586, when the city was raised by Drake.
So this was ground zero.
That's it. You're exactly right.
It's no better place. So, well, congratulations on this wonderful
Thank you.
project.
You're going to have to come back when it's totally
I definitely do. It's still a little under construction, but I can see it already. It's going to be wonderful. So thank you for your time.
My pleasure. Thanks for your interest.
And just check us out. I'm going to have more information on the site.